This is the most excited that I've been over a book in a very long time. Well, not a long time, in a while. Maybe a couple books ago. I've been reading some sad stuff lately. Yeah. Alright, hi everyone. I hope you're doing okay. I found a book and I've read the book and my lips are really throwing me off. I thought this was cute. I felt like it. And now I'm thrown off by my face. I found the book, I read the book, and you know the drill. I do need to talk to you about it because I need to talk to you about everything and anything. Apparently you're like my best friend. Almost every book that I've said that I'll talk to you about it, it's almost always the same intro. It's an impromptu book. I didn't know I was expecting. I've never read from the author, and this is the same exact case. It's an impromptu book, never read from the author. Apparently they're like really like, I don't know, like a name in the book industry. Not that big of well, it's not like a Tolkien kind of name, but it's like a big. This is Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. I'm so excited about it. It's a shame that I couldn't film. I wasn't able to film exactly after I finished this book. I finished it maybe 3 or some days ago. If I was able to film exactly after I finished it, you would have seen the excitement that I was feeling exactly after the book, because the last few chapters were whiplash, were a whirlwind. They took me on a whirlwind and they whirlpooled me into this fantasy little concoction of state of being. What you're seeing now is a fraction of what I felt exactly after finishing the book or while reading the book, or you know, the last few pages or anything or whatever. So anyways, yeah, this is Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. I'm gonna read you the back of the book, so in a way to let the book kind of introduce itself, and then I'll tell you what I got from it. Prince Yarvi has vowed to reclaim his throne. First, he must survive cruelty, chains, and the bitter waters of the Shattered Sea, and he must do it all with one good hand. Born a weakling in the eyes of the world, Yarvi cannot grip a shield or swing an axe, so he must sharpen his mind to a deadly edge. Gathering the fellowship of the outcasts, he finds they can help him more than any noble could. But even with loyal friends at his side, Yarvi's path may well end as it began, in twists and traps and the death of a king. So basically it follows a kingdom. The book is split into 4 parts. Part 1 is called The Black Chair. I'm gonna try to remember these. Part 1 is called The Black Chair, and basically we get to know a little bit of the kingdom, a little bit of the characters, and what the Black Chair is, what it represents, you know, what it involves, the value of it, the statue of it, everything. A little bit of world building. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the world building before I forget, because I don't have any notes. I'm like impromptuously saying all this and filming this because I'm very excited about the book and I just got a chance to film, so I'm not wasting it taking notes because I didn't take any while reading. Anyways, yeah, we didn't get much world building all like in the first few chapters. However, as we go along, we did get enough world building. It's not really a world building kind of book. It's not like if you've read The Priority of the Orange Tree or The Lord of the Rings, you know, stuff like that. The Priority of the Orange Tree spent the first maybe 250 pages immensely world building, a heavy world building. This one does not. This one is more of like kind of sprinkles world building while you're reading the book. However, of course, the first few chapters are, you know, more encoded in world building than the rest of the chapter. So anyways, and we get to meet Yarvi, we get to meet his mom, we get to meet the kingdom, we get to meet everything. And Yarvi is a son of a king. His father is called Uthrin. Listen, their names: Yarvi, Luthien, his mom, the Golden Queen, Ismail, something, Judd, Rolf. These are the ones that I remember. And Nothing. There's a dude called Nothing that I remember because his name is literally the easiest name. Mother Gondring. Yes, Mother Gondrings. So the names, yes, are very difficult to remember. But anyways, I did my best. So we meet Yarvi, and he is a cripple. He is born with one good hand and one hand that is mostly a stump and like a very misshapen form of a finger it's not really a finger, it doesn't have a nail. He says specifically that it doesn't have any nails. It's just like a shape of a finger, one in the other hand, and he's of course been very shamed by it, been very humiliated by it, and been even told some cruel things by his mother, his father, his brother. His father said I didn't want to have a son, stuff like that, hence the book Have a King. And then in a very wait, is that a spoiler? Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah, in a very unfortunate event, his father and brother end up, you know, dead, and he is given the kingdom. He's given the you know, the title of a king, hence the title Have a King, because he's looked at as half a man, so he would be Have a King. But he wanted to go to the ministry. He didn't want that life for himself. Like his lifelong dream was to be a minister. And he was studying with Mother Goodreads to become a minister. He was her apprentice. But something happens. I'm not going to spoil, but something happens. And I could see that one coming. I could definitely see that first part happen, because it was just too good to be true. If you've read it, if you will read it, you will understand what I'm telling you. And I'm trying my best not to spoil, because I don't want you to read it. It's a great book. Then we go to part 2, which is called The South Wind. I'm going to try my best not to spoil this part, because anything I say here will be a spoiler. But the South Wind is the name of a ship, and I love ships, I love pirates, I love pirate lore, I love anything like that, so I was very excited about that part. I'm not gonna spoil anything. So we meet a lot of people in the South Wing, including Judd, Rolf, and Sumail, and Nothing. Yes, a dude named Nothing. He's my favorite, by the way. This is not spoiler. It says, gather in the fellowship of the outcast. He finds they can help him more than any noble could, and we find most of them in the South Wing. I loved that part so much. It is extremely well done. It's extremely well built. We go to third part, which is called The Long Road. I'm gonna try my best not to say anything about this part, because everything I say will be a spoiler. Everything I say will be a spoiler. So The Long Road it reminded me heavily of The Lord of the Rings. It reminded me a lot of The Two Towers, but just quicker. The Lord of the Rings I understand the people that say, like, the people that don't like The Lord of the Rings, and I myself heavily prefer The Hobbit. I love the Lord of the Rings books, but I myself heavily prefer The Hobbit. I will read and reread that book. It's one of my all-time favorite books. Cannot say the same about the Lord of the Rings books, even though I love them a lot, and I consider them, I put them on a pedestal, and I do put them on a pedestal, and I do consider them one of the best things that ever created, and I do heavily think that they are the inspiration of everything we see today in fantasy. But yeah, I do understand the negative comments and reviews and people that say it's just a bunch of people walking, it's like, boring at times, stuff. I understand it. Like, I see where you're coming from, you know what I mean? And the third part of this book felt like The Lord of the Rings, but funner, quicker, actually readable, enjoyable. Not that The Lord of the Rings is not enjoyable. That's what I'm trying to. It's a dilemma over here. It's happening in my brain. It's a contradiction. It's an oxymoron in my brain right now. Yes, not that I'm saying that The Lord of the Rings is not enjoyable. It definitely is, but this part feels more enjoyable. So for the people that wanted to read The Lord of the Rings but could not, you are going to love this. And then we reach the fourth and final part, and it is called The Rightful King. The name speaks for itself. However, I do gotta say, with the risk of spoilers, now I promise I'm not gonna spoil. Two pinky promises that I'm not gonna spoil anything, okay? Why are you blurry? My face is right here. Okay, two pinky promises is that I'm not gonna spoil anything, okay? Okay. The ending, I did not expect that ending at all. I pride myself on being a very, deduceful, I don't know. I pride myself on deducing things. I love deducing the Agatha Christie novels. I even make videos on that right here, where you can see them and enjoy them and stuff like that for your entertainment and my passing of time. I don't know, my willingness to live. So I really pride myself on doing that, even when I'm not trying to deduce something or to crack open a case. It's in the back of my mind, and usually, more times than not, I am usually right. And there were two plot twists. One of them, it was like, oh my god, and then the last one, it was so out of nowhere. Yeah, it does leave us in a cliffhanger, on a cliffhanger. It's not really that much of a cliffhanger. Like, you can You can read this as a standalone, in my opinion. However, it's not, and lucky me, this is the first in a trilogy. So the second in the trilogy is called Half the World, and then the third is called Half a War, I believe, or Half a World and then Half a War. I think it's Half the World and then Half a War. All of them together are called the Shattered Sea trilogy, as the universe itself is surrounding a sea called the Shattered Sea. This is the map itself. I did want to show you the kind of the universe and what surrounds it and where we are. Oh my god, hi, that's me. And where we are set in and stuff like that, where we're traveling. This is Shattered Sea. I'm so excited about this one, guys. The writing itself is outstanding. The storytelling is absolutely incredible. The story itself is fantastic. It is enchanting. It is ensorceling. I absolutely loved it. I found it extremely bewitching, grabbing me. It doesn't really take that much for this book to grab your attention, to absolutely pull you in the story. The ending again it was just so out of the blue, and I really enjoyed it. I found the author extremely versatile, going from like super poetic things to simple ways, and even like poetic life lessons, stuff that I will annotate and quote and read and reread again. I will literally like grab the book from my shelves and just, you know, to glance at my annotations and wrap it all and say it in something succinct and something simple. And I loved that so much. It's a difficult thing to achieve, actually, if you try writing, but it was achieved so simply. It feels effortless. The storytelling feels effortless, and I really love that. This is awesome if you're planning to start fantasy. It's technically considered a dark fantasy, but I don't really see it as that dark a fantasy. I don't know. Yeah, it's not complicated. It's slightly political, but I loved that aspect of it so much, and it speaks volumes. It's considered YA, but I enjoyed it, and I don't usually. I'm not like, you know, I stopped enjoying YA like 4 years ago. That's just me. I'm done reading about 17-year-olds. You know, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Kudos to you if you do. I mean, as long as you're happy and you're reading, that makes me happy. But to me, it just feels weird reading continuously about 17. I'm saying this right now, and I am reading the Twilight books, and she's like 17 in the book. I'm a hypocrite and a liar. I'm sorry, but I love you. Speaking of love, that's it. I love you if you watched the video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please give this book a try. I have no idea what I'm going to title this video. I was going to say leave suggestions in the comments, but that's not gonna work. I'm realizing now. Great book, amazing book. I really liked it. Thank you so much for watching. I loved you, and I'm gonna see you next video.